So when you talked the other day, you described that feeling I was having as touching the heart of God or the hand of God.
Yeah.
So what is God?
Well, what is God to you?
Well, I've always said I don't believe in God, you see.
You don't have to.
So when you said that, do you mean is God somewhere out there or is God in here?
Well, what do you know?
I don't know because to have an experience with God is not something I've ever had before.
But you had it the other day, and you're still in it.
Yeah, which is why it's so confusing because I don't believe in God.
Well, you see, the way that we've been brought up is that God is an external factor, and God is a male figure living in some exclusive neighborhood in the universe that we all aspire to, and some cultures teach that we're not good enough. To get there, so we've got to work really hard or look for God's benevolence and etc. The way that I see it is that God is within us, and all that is. It's like I use the term all that is.
Yeah.
That God is nature, and the nature of all that is, and that God is an experience of oneself in that moment in order to expand whichever part of our essence we already are. And that inner part of our essence is eternal and ethereal and can only be given substance by being expressed in a moment, to be witnessed, to be observed, and then from that expression of self and our interrelation, everything around us, with all that is, because everything is all that is. In that moment of touching heart to heart or spirit to spirit or different aspects of spirit, we know ourselves, and in that moment we know ourselves as God, which is something that has to be experienced. You can't ever explain it. And, often in the deepest sessions that we have, people say, "What did you do?" And people say, "I can't put it into words." So you cannot put it into words, such an experience. But once you've touched that experience, you live that forever. And that's the whole point of it, really, isn't it? It's about expressing that part of you that is eternal and touch everyone else's and everything else's eternality and infinity. And that if people say, okay, what's the purpose of my life? At the core level, that's the purpose of your life. And then if you come up through the different levels, you've got a human level of experiencing life, from how you observe it, how you see it, how you feel it, and how you express yourself within it, which is why it's so important to be aware of belief systems, expectations, and all of these are many different levels of what we call being. And within that, come to your own truth and experience it, rather than with most people, they take what they see as being truth and they live their whole life trying to fit into a truth that in their heart doesn't fit in for them. And that's how disease is caused, that's how war starts, that's how conflict is caused, that's how violence is caused, because in your heart there is no peace. And you're seeking to return to that peace. And most people are looking at that peace from an external relationship. It has to start from within first. You have to have that relationship with yourself. And most people say, well, isn't that self-centered? Well, yeah, okay, but if I don't agree with the understanding of the word self-centered, but if you look at the true understanding of self-centered, you have to be centered within yourself in order to know yourself, in order to know how you're going to express within any given situation. And with the world now being so defensive, with everyone seeing everything from a defensive attitude and then becoming offensive in relationship to that, if you want to know peace, if you want to know humility, if you want to know anything other than an ego-based experience, you first have to be that. And in order to project peace or to experience or to expand peace, you have to be in your own peace. You have to understand the difference between peace as a way of being and peace as a way of doing. Because if you're doing peace and your heart is not at peace, then it doesn't work. It's very, very simple.